Good idea. They just go with the flow. It's the Herschy and Keegs Show.
Welcome to Herschy and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. Well, everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's 9 p.m. I think you guys know what that means. That means it's the Herschy and the Keegs Show. Grab your nuts and hold your butts, because we are ready to have some fun. It's going to be a good one. We weren't here last week, and we're happy to be back. Hello, Mark. Hello, Tony.
He said, grab your nuts, not mine, Tony. So put your hand back to where it was.
That's
okay, please.
Every other Tuesday.
It was a misunderstanding.
You know what? We always say this. When we're not together for a week, it feels like an eternity. Now it's been 2 weeks, and it's good to see you both. And, of course, it wouldn't be Herschy and the Keegs Show unless it was raining out. Of course,
some long sort of hair you have on your shirt.
Yes,
there.
well, sometimes I let it grow long.
Right.
It's of course inclement weather. God forbid we ever come here on a nice balmy night.
We haven't come here in nice weather in a year. Probably.
It rains. It's always raining. But you know what that means? It gives people a chance to cuddle up, pull their blankies up to their chins.
That's right.
And just listen to Herschy and the Keegs.
There's nothing better to do on a rainy night than listen to us.
And we are here.
Glasses.
We are here. Thank you. I knew that you would like them. I appreciate you commenting on them, and I know all the listeners and viewers and fans are going to love them, as they always do with my glasses.
Did you get that in a P. Diddy estate sale?
I may have. But, yeah, I know. I can't wait to see all the sparkling comments about them, because we know how people feel about my glasses. So that'll be exciting. It is exciting that we're here, because I know that there were certain people, plenty of them, more than we anticipated, who didn't think we were going to be here or thought we weren't going to be here for much longer after I had sent you a very innocent text yesterday. Hey, should I try to put one over on our fans, letting them know that we're breaking up? And you said absolutely go for it.
I said go for it, and right after you did it, I'm like, nobody's going to care. Not one person's going to care.
I almost wish nobody did care, because, listen, there's not a lot of things that I'm good at in life, as you know.
I know.
You know that.
I know that all too well.
I'm a good son. I'm a good father. I'm a good kisser, as you know.
I know all three of those
soft
things.
lips.
Yeah.
But I'm a very good writer, and I've been so since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't realize the way I had written that with my Mark Hirschman talent. There were some people who got it, and they were commenting, and then I was deleting them because I don't want to. But I was getting, and I'm telling you, it was coming in fast and furious.
Yeah.
Many text messages, many DMs. People were like, "Is that real?"
And this is also at the end of the day on social media where every single person's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. We just got engaged."
No, when I'm telling you,
April Fool's jokes.
There were people who were legitimately 100% like.
You got my mom. My mom.
Your mom, my friend Lindsay Rathgabe, Lindsay and John are big
Lindsay,
listeners.
we got Lindsay.
Lindsay also.
Holy
She was 100% hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
definitely. And then there were some people though, like, oh my god, like you had me there for a second. So
even old Dan McCarthy. Was like, this is probably the only believable one.
It's
because of how meticulously you wrote it out.
I don't. Again, I'm not patting myself on the back, although I am. There's not that many things I'm talented at, but I am a very convincing writer, and I didn't put much effort into that.
Yeah,
it took me about 30 seconds, and then I sent it to you. You're like, damn, that's fucking good.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, is this real? Are we really done?
You sent it to me after saying it's Abram. I'm like, this is real.
I mean, I know you hate me and I hate you, but like, is this real though? Is this real?
People had contacted me too.
Wow.
Yeah.
No joke.
Wow.
Yeah,
no joke.
It's crazy. And what was happening was I was watching the Iowa State basketball game, the women's basketball game, and I couldn't enjoy it because my phone was just blowing up. I swear to you it was. And then eventually I'm like, Mike, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's been an hour barely, and I've responded to at least 50 things. So...
I've never enjoyed a women's basketball game either, just because I'm a sane American male.
I love it. I love the women's basketball.
I like it better. Actually, this year I like it better than the men's.
Yeah,
NCAA
well, that's what I've been
tournament.
saying for sure. But so we're good, and we're here, and it's certainly. I think Mikey had like a moment of clarity where he was like, "We're really loved."
Yeah, no, exactly.
And that's legit.
It felt good.
So even if it's not 500,000 people or whatever the case may be, the people that love us really love us, and we appreciate that.
And we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we'll just keep on plugging away. And for all the people that were excited and were wanted us to leave, and the
we're not
haters,
going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. But someone did go somewhere this weekend, and that was our very own Mike Keegan. That's him over here to the left. Looks like a bank robber from the 1950s. Mike Keegan was at the Boston Comedy Festival. Now, mind you, for those who don't know about comedy festivals, there are comedy festivals where you have to pay a ton of money, you show up, and they're just shitty, glorified bringer shows.
I've done so many of them where I show up and I'll drive to Jersey and it's in like the back room of a bar with like 8 people.
So I think I want to make it pretty clear here so we understand just what Mike got to do this weekend. He was at a comedy festival where, forget about the comics that performed. One of the honorees was Kevin Nealon, SNL great, legendary comedian, was there, and Mike got to see him. From the show Family Ties, the father, Michael Gross, was honored.
Michael Gross was there. He was,
which is, again,
awesome.
a legendary actor.
Yeah.
So
D.L. Hughley was there.
D.L. Hughley, obviously Long Island's own Mike Keegan, and then many other names that real comedy fans would know. And
some of the past winners like Nate Bargatze, who just hosted SNL.
Yep, absolutely.
Bill Burr's done it. Like it's a good festival. It's been around 24 years. This is their 24th year. This guy Jim McHugh started it. He's a great Boston comic, and this is the second time I did it. I did it like about 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay,
and I was fairly new, and
you were definitely new at that point.
But this year I got to and it's cool because I got to see a lot of like New England comics that I haven't seen in a long time that I'm friends with. And it was cool. I did so Tuesday night was like the first round. I made it into the second round because it's a competition also.
Yep. So
other than like the booked shows that they have there, it's also a contest. So I made it to the second round on Tuesday, which is a nightmare because Tuesday I worked. So we have day jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody knows.
Yeah.
But we try to stay humble.
And,
So we do have day jobs. So Tuesday I worked a half a day. I drove to Boston. I did my set, made it to the second round, drove back Tuesday night.
Unreal.
worked all day Wednesday, and then worked half a day Thursday. I had a show
Back.
there Thursday night.
Back to
So
Beantown.
1 o'clock, I drive back to Boston. Show's at 7 o'clock. I get there at 6:50
Oh yeah, you hit
because I
the
hit so much traffic.
you hit the big dig or whatever they
and
call it out
was,
there.
I would get really bad anxiety if
Yeah.
I'm late for anything.
Yeah.
And,
I don't
was just
have that, but
anxious
yeah.
and I know. I was just anxious and just in my head, and I got there and I was all flustered, and I never make excuses.
Yeah.
I had a bad set Thursday night.
Yeah.
I had a bad set.
Yep.
Did not make it through to the finals,
Nope.
but it was cool. They asked me to come on the Saturday night show. They had like a house show at the City Winery there in Boston,
Which is a big
beautiful
venue. Yeah.
So they asked me to come and perform
Sure.
on that one, which is an awesome
So you
show.
got to perform 3 times in the city of Boston.
Yeah.
You got to meet people. You got to network. You got to put the Herschy and the Keegs out there.
Herschy and the Keegs is out there. I met
Yeah.
some great people. The 2 winners, this guy Casey Crawford, he's a Boston comic.
Sure.
And this girl Angelica Scanara, she's from Toronto.
Okay.
So people came from all over. There were people from San Francisco I met there, and
Yeah.
this girl Angelica and this other guy Mark Anthony something.
Yeah.
He was
J-Lo's
from Toronto-
ex-husband.
from
Yeah.
Toronto
Mhm.
also.
Yeah.
Another great comic. Actually, we have to have him on the show. He's got like 105,000 Twitter
Perfect.
Instagram followers. And
Perfect. We're in.
He's but met a lot of cool people, and then Carla and Juliana met me there on Friday, so we got to explore Boston a little bit.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a fun.
Yeah, dude, we were proud of you, super proud of you, and we're good to have you back because we wanted to get back in the studio and do what we do, as they say.
This is what we do.
Yeah, this is what we do. I had, as I spend every day taking notes and worrying about the show, I
Same.
periodically will say to Mike, hey, can you just send me something so I can go ahead and add it to the collection of notes. And you wrote 2 things to me. The first one was, hey, can you remind me to tell the bracelet story? So
I got to contribute something, right?
So as we said a couple of weeks ago, you're not even notating these things yourself. I'm your secretary. I'm your bitch. So Mike,
I don't even you make some meticulous pages and pages of notes.
Yeah.
My notes are texting Mark, remind me to do this.
Exactly. Well, tell us the bracelet
I got
story,
a
Mike.
good bracelet story.
You do?
Nice segue into a bracelet.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness! My birthday, Carla bought me this beautiful bracelet, black diamond bracelet.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And it was very nice of her. I love this thing. She bought me a matching ring with it. And
She forgot you won her 6'11" black boyfriend. Is that what happened?
they matched your sunglasses.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
That guy got the box set of The Office. That guy.
Oh, I want that so bad.
Uncut? What? What the fuck is this?
With outtakes and bloopers.
That's Steve Carell funny.
Oh, they mesh in the English version also? Yeah.
And Mike's got a bracelet that's the size of a necklace on his wrist. He's wearing it around his shoulder.
Denny Smith is wondering why he's got these DVDs.
That's right,
Exactly,
that's
right.
That's right. Exactly.
So yeah, I have this. It's a beautiful bracelet, and I love it. And I wear it to all my shows. I wear it on special occasions.
Sure.
And a couple weeks ago, we were in Pennsylvania doing shows in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
We're doing shows. I had my bracelet on, and Carla's on the show with me. And we stayed the night there, and then we got a hotel, and I had a couple 2 glasses of wine or whatever, and I must have been fluttering around,
Right.
doing,
with,
I get
with your size 36 necklace
Wait,
on your wrist.
with this giant
Can't
necklace on my
imagine
wrist.
how that slipped off. How'd that slip off your
Do it
wrist?
with the hula hoop on your wrist.
Right, that's right.
I get very handsy with my mannerisms
Yeah,
when
I
I
know.
have
You get
a couple
handsy and
glasses of
kissy
wine.
when you
I
get a couple
know.
of wine. It's fucking annoying as fuck.
So it must have slipped off my wrist at
Yeah.
some point.
Shocking,
And
yeah.
Carla found it on the floor.
Shut up.
Yeah, and she's like, "Do you want me to hold this?" I'm like, "No, I got it. I'm gonna hold it. Whatever, blah blah." And I must have put it somewhere, and I didn't put it back on my wrist.
You
Next
can see
thing I know-
how precious this is to him. Puts it back in, throws it back down on the floor again.
No, I'll hold it.
Yeah.
So I put it away, and the next day I'm packing up to come home, and I see all my jewelry. I wear a lot of jewelry.
Yes.
Like
No, I
Mr.
know.
T,
I know.
yeah.
I know, Mr. T. Right.
So I'm looking at all my jewelry. I can't find the bracelet. I'm like, oh my god. And
Right.
then I'm like, maybe Carla grabbed it, or wherever.
Right.
So it must be at the bottom of my bag. Maybe I put it.
Right.
Maybe put it in my
It
suitcase.
could be literally anywhere.
Could be literally anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it's got to be somewhere. It'll turn up. So we drive home.
Sure.
Drive home. Now Carla's asking me, "You got the bracelet?" I'm like,
Oh,
"Nah."
she's grilling.
She's grilling me. 'Cause
Yeah.
she knows that I
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with that.
You got the bracelet? I'm like, "Yeah, it's in my bag." She's like, "All right, let me see." I'm like, "I'll find it when I get home. I got to go through all my
Right,
stuff.
right.
Go put stuff in the laundry."
Sure.
So next day, Carla's, "Where's the bracelet?" I'm like, "I didn't get a chance to look at it. Look for it. I had to work, whatever." Then she's asking me two more days. Where's the bracelet? Now I'm looking everywhere. I can't find this thing. That's
You didn't get a chance.
That's me when I'm on the road doing comedy.
You didn't get a chance to go into Chinatown and get another bracelet.
Now at this
basically.
point, I'm like, I don't have this thing.
No.
I called the hotel to see if there
Mike
was
just called Pennsylvania.
I called
Pennsylvania. Is anywhere my bracelet anywhere?
I called two different. There were two hotels with the same name. I didn't remember which one we stayed at. They were in two different towns near Phoenixville.
Yeah.
I called both of them. Do you have a lost and found? Did anyone turn us in? No. I called the venue where the show was. Nothing.
Sure.
So now I'm like, I lost this friggin' thing.
You lost it twice.
And I don't want to admit to Carla that I lost it.
No, especially since you lost it once and she reclaimed it.
Exactly. And now I'm not going to admit to it because I have my pride.
Right.
I bought the bracelet. I went online. I found the exact bracelet. I bought it, and I'm like, all right. So she'll never know the difference.
Well, depending on the timing of it.
Depending on the timing of it, I bought it, and I picked it up from the store at Roosevelt Field that day.
Oh wow! So this is not an Amazon. This is you have to go.
No, you have to go to Roosevelt Field.
You have
and
to
get
go
it's a nice bracelet.
to go to the diamond shop. Okay.
So that was a Thursday. So that night, Carl and I had a show here at Governor's.
Sure, you did.
So I put the bracelet on. I come to the show. I get off stage. Just had a great set, and I'm like, right, passed by Carla. Hey, look, see, got the bracelet. She goes, "What'd you go in my bag?"
What?
I go, "Excuse me?"
Oh my god.
She goes, "You went in my bag?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, then how'd you get the bracelet?" I'm like, and then I realized she had the friggin' bracelet the whole goddamn time.
Wow, what an
Meanwhile,
evil
she's letting me live in anguish for a week.
Wow.
And buy a brand new friggin' bracelet.
So now you have two pimp bracelets that you have no business wearing.
Yeah.
Then,
So you guys can share it. Now I can return it.
Are you wearing the hula hoop to the?
I'm not wearing it now. I'm not gonna lose this friggin' thing. I gotta get my money back. I don't have Carla Okerson money. I can't afford this.
Is there a return policy on this?
Yeah, I can return it. I still have like 30 more days to return it. So I can return it, get my money back. But
chances are you'll lose it at least 3 times before then.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you where it is right now. No, it's actually in my car.
Yeah.
But
so that's the story we're telling.
That is a story we're telling, right? It's how sick of a person Carla is. That's a sick person.
I mean, I guess so.
I could see for 1 day, 2 days maybe, but to let me think that I lost it, knowing full well that I'm freaking out.
Yeah,
she's a sick person.
There's a little cruelty involved there.
It is.
A little cruelty.
What a sick.
But I'm glad that all's well that ends well, as they say.
That's
in
right.
the business.
That is correct.
So good for you. I'm glad you had it. Yeah. So that was one thing you texted me. The other thing you texted me, and I had a little hard time understanding it at first, but you said, "Remind me." Hold on, I'm going to pull it up.
Remind me.
You said, "Remind me." Let me pull it up here. There was a game when we played when we were kids. It was called Pickleballs.
Pickleballs, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like, are you trying to tell me of a story that you played pickleball as a kid, and you're insisting that this was a game called Pickleballs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, pickleball is the taking over the nation. This game,
Pickleball
people are
is
making lots of money opening pickleball
courts
and selling
competitions.
Pickleball. I created pickleballs.
Yes, pickleballs was a different thing. Yeah.
What we would do is we'd have a jar of Vlasic, the sandwich stackers.
Yeah, not the butter
the
chips.
Spears, definitely not the butter chips. You can't do it. Mm-hmm. But your buddy would be sitting there not paying attention.
Yeah.
And you'd slap him in the balls with it.
Oh, you'd slap them with the
slap
pickle.
them, and depending on how many guys you can get you got to get them before they see you coming.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd be walking around a party, be like, I got 6 guys. You slap them with a pickle. It's called pickle balls.
Pickleballs. So, do you think, obviously, the person who's created pickleball, the trademark, non-perverted version of
totally
it,
stole
is extremely wealthy? Okay.
Yeah.
We can say, isn't.
Yeah.
Extremely wealthy or not.
I have expensive jewelry.
Yeah. Do you think that if there was an attempt for you to go to court and have some sort of a copyright infringement case that you'd be able to pull this up and something would happen?
I'm gonna start looking into this because we used to do it at the colleges when my friends went and stuff,
Yeah.
and there must have been the guy at the college, and he's probably the guy that
Right.
started this pickleball, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's just make it a giant game of table tennis."
Yeah.
Shut up! It's a penis slapping game.
So this is almost like the story of Facebook, how it was started out
That's right.
by the Von Stoop brothers, or whatever they were called.
I'm the Winklevoss
The
twins.
Winklevoss.
I
I
am
knew
the
that he would know. Yeah,
I am the Winklevoss
Yeah,
twins
yes.
of pickleball.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You are a
This
Winklevoss
guy
twin.
bastardized my innocent little
Yeah.
male bonding game.
Yeah, so that was Mikey's contribution this week. Tone was
He probably
pickleballs.
created this cool game that people are gonna get into, and what can I name it? Oh, there's that guy that used to come to my college and hit me with a pickle.
the pickle dick. I thought
Because when you hit them, you have to yell pickleballs.
pickleballs,
Pickleballs.
boom, right in the balls. Yeah,
Pickleballs.
pickleballs, still
Yeah.
pickle right there in the
That's
balls.
right, yeah.
So yeah, well you are you're not the Winklevoss brothers.
The Winklevoss brothers.
But I it reminds me of another contribution, I should say, that Mikey sent me. He sent it to me, but the first person to send it to me was Sue across the street. As soon as the story came out of the Siamese twins, who one of them is marrying this gentleman.
Yeah.
And you were obsessed immediately with the story.
I was obsessed with the two of them before because they were at a reality show. The girl they got two heads. It's a
Yeah,
Si-
Siamese
No, they're
twin.
not Siamese. I think they're conjoined. Is it the same thing? Conjoined Siamese? Is it the
I don't.
same
Are you
thing?
even allowed to say Siamese anymore?
I think
Is that
that's
not a
politically
word?
incorrect. I think you
Is
have
that
to say
no? Is that
conjoined.
true?
I think that's
Conjoined.
I think
Okay.
that's the N word.
I don't look. I'm not looking to offend all the people
that's
with
the
two
N-word
heads.
for people with two heads. Yeah. You're not
Okay.
Siamese. 'cause
So the way I believe they're anatomically put together is that they have two heads, but everything below the waist is all one. So
everything below their organs, they have separate lungs.
Okay.
Separate kidneys.
okay,
Everything basically from the waist down they share.
waist down that they share.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they have separate organs. They have two hearts.
Yeah.
They have four, two sets of lungs, two sets of kidneys.
Yeah.
Do we have sets of kidneys. Yeah.
So you were.
I thought this week that until the other day that your kidneys are here. They're in your back. Did
Back.
you know that? I didn't
Upper
know
back.
that.
Well,
Carla was
considering
saying,
that I have studied every medical manual in the
I'm
history
sure,
of the
I'm
world,
sure because you think you've had every illness.
I could remove one of your kidneys right now before you step out of the studio. So
Because the other day Carla was like, "Oh, I have to drink water. My kidneys hurt," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Oh." She's
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you rubbing my stomach?" I'm like, "Isn't that where your kidneys are?"
that's my left tit. That's not.
She's like, "Your kidneys are in the back, stupid."
Your kidneys have nipples? No, no, idiot.
I'm like, "Oh, I think
No.
you have kidney tumors." No, those are my nipples.
Oh my god. Yeah, they're actually like in the back, but a little bit. And I don't know if you knew this, but they're very tiny.
Are they really?
Kidneys
Mine
are
or
not.
everybody's?
No, yours are enlarged. Yours are definitely enlarged and unhealthy. But everybody else has normal sized
Gotcha.
kidneys, right?
How big? What size would they be?
Oh,
Like,
I would say. I mean, have you ever heard the expression "kidney beans"?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
the
the
size.
size.
We're that size?
No, they're bigger than that. But they're
Okay.
not. I don't think they're much
They're
bigger.
the shape of a kidney bean.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That I know.
But
Would it be like they're golf ball size or baseball size?
Each kidney is about 5 inches long,
Yeah.
3 inches wide, and
So-
2 inches thick,
so it's like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like that
Okay,
basically.
gotcha.
weighing 10 to 12 ounces.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
All
not a
right.
lot of ounces.
No, that's
Yeah.
not a lot.
So these two, so the Siamese or the conjoined twins, only Abby is married to the gentleman.
So yeah,
He's only,
it's so weird. Like I want to know everything.
well,
about
here's
them.
the thing though. So you and all the other deviants in the world, the first thing that you thought of was all of the sexual related things.
not at all.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You're
want
a
to know,
liar.
like,
Yeah.
what if he falls in love with the other one, and
Yeah.
no, I don't want to know that.
So
I want to
Abby,
know. I want to know. Everybody's got questions. I want to. There's only one question I have: who gets to taste it? Who gets to smell it?
So, Abby, who is apparently a Twitter expert, this is not a joke. She actually tweeted this saying, and it was an official account with the red check mark or whatever it is, a blue check mark.
No, it's
because
red for
everyone is
Siamese
asking,
twins.
we're just going to tell you. Yes, I have sex with my husband. This is Abby saying it. Okay. Yes, I go down on him. Yes, my sister Brittany is there.
I can't wait to take this out of context and make it sound like you're saying
Oh
this.
yeah.
Yes, I have sex with my husband.
Oh, that's good. Yes, my sister Brittany is there. Now, this is an interesting one that you may have to excuse yourself from the room because I know it's going to excite you. Yeah. Yes, my sister and I orgasm as one, but when I sleep with my husband, she's usually reading a book or listening to a true crime podcast, so she just puts the pleasure out of her mind.
What?
Yeah, I don't buy that one. I don't.
They have one hand. They only have two arms, right? So she's just like reading a book while her sister's getting pounded, taking a pound town. Like
my hunch is that someone's being untruthful. You know,
I think Abby's full of. I think
Brittany, are you just reading a book over there? Yes, I am. I'm reading a book.
The book's upside down, Brittany.
Right, and you can't read Taiwanese either.
You can't read Siamese. You are Siamese. You can't read Siamese.
That's right. Just can't keep on going. I'm reading.
This guy, man, they have to both get involved for this guy to stick around because that's something cool. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what's his name's Corey Bowler, right? The bowler picked up a spare. I don't know. That's somebody. That's
you saw that?
He's a bowler.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know, but he's like
Siamese
a regular looking guy. He's like a veteran.
He looks kind of like Jared from Subway before he lost the weight. Yeah. That's what he looks like, and he probably has similar sexual desires.
Yeah.
But it's
he's definitely there's something wrong with him. But
do you? What if there isn't though? What if he just like
loves this two-headed monster?
I don't. You know, it's not. I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, you were a fan of the show, so you would have a familiarity more with personality wise.
They're very smart. They're very nice. They're both teachers.
Yeah. But I don't. So I would assume in the same class because that might be tough.
No, it's weird. It's so weird. The one's a history teacher, the other one's a math teacher. Two separate classes. No, I don't know. But no, they're both a
8 plus 8. I'm in here. Abraham Lincoln.
Did they now? I want to know. Like, do they get two salaries? Do they share a salary?
You know what, dude? This is gonna have to be the rabbit
hole. We're gonna have
to
have them on here.
Well, they'll come on.
They'll come on.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I'll be appropriate the entire time.
No, this is a rabbit hole that I think I'm going to let you travel down, if that's okay.
They actually have a rabbit hole.
Yes, they do. Well, that's what he calls it, actually. Yeah. I'm down here in the rabbit hole. I don't know.
That's our belly button.
I'd love to know the derivation of how the relationship
I want to know how they met.
Yeah.
I want to know all the background stuff too. I don't want to just know the nitty gritty.
We'll do a little research on it.
But I have been, but I haven't gotten really good information like where they met and because he was a combat veteran. He was in the military.
Right. I'm sure that this has nothing to do with PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's got CTE.
I'm gonna say. Yeah. He's sitting around having beers with his war buddies. What are you up to? You might not want to know. You know, just oh, my back's been killing me. You know, that knee whole thing. What about you, Bowler?
You know, banging a freak show.
I don't know. So we'll have you do a little more investigatory work about it.
Yeah, I will.
I'd like you to do that.
This will be ongoing because I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, you are fascinated by it for sure. Speaking of fascinated, I think that we need to make sure that we give a little pop. Some really good news came out yesterday. The Finger Lakes Racetrack in upstate New York, which is about 350 miles from here, put out a very big press release announcing that after having the same race caller for, I believe, the last 15 years, this guy, Tony Callow, got a job in, I believe, in California, and their new full-time racetrack race announcer is none other
Abby
than
and Brittany.
Just Brittany, is none other than the legendary Mr. Anthony Stabile.
Our buddy Anthony Stabile. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, isn't that pretty neat, man?
That is awesome. It's
pretty cool. It's something that he's always dreamt about since he was a kid to be a full-time announcer, and you know that he had called races in New York, Belmont, Aqueduct, Saratoga, but he never got the full-time position.
Isn't he only like the third announcer that they've ever had?
That's good. Mikey, wow. He's Finger Lakes Racetrack has been open for 62 years, and the original caller was a guy named Ross Morton, who's a kind of a sports legend.
Yeah, who doesn't know Ross Morton?
Ross Morton was
Who doesn't know Finger Lakes Ross Morton?
Finger Lakes Morton, they called him. Yeah, and
That's
then
what they
Tony
call
Col-
Todd Bowler now.
That's right. And so Anthony's going to be starting that job at the end of the month, end of April. He's looking for people to go and visit. It's only 350 miles away.
All right.
So a little road trip. It's also connected to a casino.
Hey,
So
I don't
yeah.
see any reason why we don't do a live Hershey and the
I
Keegs
mean,
show.
that
in
would be
Finger Lake.
from the actual announcer's booth.
Yeah, right?
Would be outrageous.
Dude, sick. Let's do it.
Would be outrageous.
Tony, we're coming.
Listen, Tony has taken night trips to England, so I think a day trip
Yeah,
to
to
Finger
Finger
Lakes
Lakes.
or
Yeah,
a night
exactly.
trip to Finger Lakes
Yeah.
is definitely something that he could swing.
When does that season run?
It goes from the end of April until November. It ends around right around Thanksgiving because it gets a little cold upstate, so they're closed December, January, February, March, April. They open up at the end of April.
Okay. So he lives up there for 7 months?
So he'll be, he can certainly, the racing days are only either Sunday to Wednesday or Monday to Wednesday. It's only 3 or 4 days. So he ostensibly can come home, go back. I mean, I don't know what he's going to be living up there those nights. He's not going to come back home. That's it.
He's
Race
not Mike
is done.
Keegan going to Boston because he's got work.
Racing done. I'm going to head home for 350,000 miles. That would be very far.
Oh, that is far.
So I wanted to make sure we gave him a little pop because he's been generous to the show. He's come on and he's always willing to help if we ever need him.
Good for you, Jack.
Yeah, man. So our man Anthony Stabile, he's firing at all cylinders.
Nice.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, and it is interesting, by the way, that he announced that on April Fool's because there was several hundred comments on Twitter, mostly positive, but you have your psychopath haters on Twitter. But there were people like, "This is a joke, right? Like he's not telling the truth."
Exactly, yeah.
So it is interesting that he came out with that. But,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
it was totally legit. And he is going to be the racetrack caller, and he's heading up the end of the month. And
Sweet.
so congratulations to him. We wanted to talk about that.
He's a good guy.
Just in some local Mark Hirschman stories, I wanted to tell you I was in BJ's the other day, and I happened to stop at. There was a lady that was offering samples of. It was some sort of what do you call that? The avocado.
Avocados.
No, but when it's
Guacamole?
Guacamole.
Okay.
She had guacamole, and I looked at her name tag, and this was a no-no. Don't ever do this. But I said, oh my God, Hazel. My dog's name's Hazel. And,
Oh, my God.
and she didn't like that.
No, I'm sure she didn't.
She did.
Yeah.
She wasn't a fan. Yeah, she wasn't a fan of the my dog's name is Hazel.
You can say my aunt's name is Hazel, my sister's name is Hazel, not your dog.
She wasn't a fan.
Hey,
of
what's
that.
up, dog name?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Scooter?
You should have just went over and said, give me some guacamole. Who's a good
You
girl?
know what? It was just one of those things that was very instinctive. I felt very.
Did you at least sample her guacamole?
Oh, I certainly did. I also tried what she had to offer for food too.
Oh!
Hey! Let's end on that note. What? Yeah, so that happened over there.
When she gave it to you, you go, who's a good girl?
Right, that's right. Who's a good girl, Hazel? Who's a good girl? Hopefully I can relate this story correctly. The next thing I wanted to tell you guys. I know that DiDomenico used to tell me that in is it East Meadow he lived in, or Belmore? There would be
Belmore,
there was a town person that everyone knew who was kind of not homeless, but maybe an adult who maybe had some learning stuff. I don't remember, but are you familiar with every town has
we used to have one in East Meadow, Shoeless Joe.
Okay, so give me a little idea about Shoeless Joe.
He used to walk around by the library with no shoes on.
Oh, is that why they called him Shoeless Joe? Yeah.
There you go.
I thought he was a baseball fan and got involved in a scandal.
He was in a scandal in 1919. No, he was. No, he was just a homeless guy who walked around with no shoes or socks on all day.
Yeah.
And we're very intelligent in East Meadow, so we get Shoeless Joe.
I love that.
Yeah. We had him. We had Crazy Mary, who ended up getting hit by a car and killed.
But give me someone who was of a higher level of intelligence, who was communicative, but maybe still spent the day out, maybe going into stores, things like. Was there anyone of that level? Tony Walker was the guy. Yeah.
Shoeless Tony Walker.
Yeah.
Leg Tony Walker.
Peg leg Tony, they call him. Where's that
We call
fucking
him
idiot again?
Captain Teabag.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry.
Who's the guy who likes to get teabagged in the back of Fortunoffs? Oh, that's Peg leg Tony.
Don't knock it until you try it.
Exactly.
That's it.
But no, what was your question? I'm sorry.
No. So there's a kid. I would assume he's probably in his 30s now. Most people from Levittown know him. His name is Anthony. I first met Anthony years ago. He used to be at one of the local pools, and he'd be diving off the board, and he's
announcing horse races at Finger Lakes.
Right now he is right. He's heading up 350 miles. No, he's the nicest kid in the world.
What's the age?
I would say Anthony's probably like in his 30s by now, is my guess. And but totally communicative, very nice, and some people just kind of, just like anything in general. Some people don't talk to him. Yeah. I always just conversate with him. I see him around the town. I don't see him at the pools anymore, but he like helps out at like Ralph's Ices. He helps out at the pizza place in town. Yeah. You just see him walking. I've given him rides before. I've never seen his parents or guardians or whoever it is, but he's fine. Like he's doing okay. But like it annoys me sometimes where like he'll be talking to people and they'll be a little bit like douchey to him. You know what I mean? He's harmless.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's totally harmless. He's a sweet kid. And recently I'd seen him. So I saw him in the pizza place. I talked to him a little bit. Then I saw him he was working. I don't know if he works there, but he helps out at the pizza place.
Grabbing the
Ralph's Ices. Yeah, he just like the real small business owners who understand that he's part of the fabric of the town. Yeah. They're courteous to him.
But then there's people that are jerks.
But there are a lot of people who are like, who are, I don't want to say bothered by him, but it seems that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he, so I see him within a 2-3 day period of time. I see him at the Ralph's Ices. I see him at the pizza place, and then I see him at Target, and he walks past me, and he's like, we got to stop meeting like this. And I'm like, I'm the fucking guy. I'm the guy that nobody wants to talk to.
He's got a podcast at home where he just talks into an empty Gatorade bottle. Yeah. He's like, there's this guy, Mark Hirschman. He's like the local idiot. He's like radio of Levittown.
That's right. I'm like, I'm his.
You're his.
No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly.
I just thought it was so funny, like that I'm bothering him.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta stop.
Not that he's ever bothered me. He never bothers me,
exactly.
but
you definitely bother him. He's probably like, why is this guy asking me to get into his car all the time?
It was just so funny because it was such like a smart thing to say. Like, we have to stop meeting like this. You know,
like maybe this guy isn't as bad as I thought.
So goddamn funny.
We've had a lot of them in East Meadow. I think we've had more of those people than regular residents in East Meadow. We had Pee-wee. He used to drive around on a giant tricycle.
Yeah.
He was like an older guy. Like an older guy.
But they got his name because of Pee-wee
Herman. Yeah. We had Leon, who lived in the group home on the corner of my block.
Okay.
And whenever you would walk by the house, I would always walk my dog by. He would just go, boo. Boo, like he'd try to scare me.
Oh, like Boo Radley.
Exactly. But then he would also hang out at all the East Meadow High School football games and hang out in the locker room and stuff. He was like,
oh, that's normal. Yeah,
like mentally ill man hang out in the high school football locker room.
Okay,
but he was like the he just died a few years ago, but he was like the mascot of East Meadow.
Leon,
he was hanging out at the firehouses.
Yeah,
we had Leon. We had him. We had there was another guy I'm thinking of, but
you had a lot.
Escapes me, but there were quite a few around East Meadow.
I might have told this story way back when we started years ago. I don't even remember, 2 years ago, whatever. But there was a guy in Valley Stream where I grew up. His name was Mike Sadika. Mike Sadika was like an honorary member of the Valley Stream Volunteer Firefighters.
Yeah, a lot of them do that.
He rode his bike around.
Yeah.
Everyone just knew Mike. Everyone knew Sadika.
An honorary volunteer. Like, that's,
yeah, but everyone knew him, and like, you didn't fuck with him because he was like, people would hurt you if you fucked with him.
Exactly,
because he was part of the fabric, you know? And
That's like Leon. He was in every East Meadow High School yearbook.
Yeah. I mean, Sadeko was, you always saw him around. You saw him around forever. Sadly, he actually passed a couple of years ago, like 55 years old. But anyway, this must have been when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I'll never forget it. I was on Cochran Place in Valley Stream, and I remember trying to trade him a Wade Boggs 83 rookie in exchange for a 1980 Ricky Henderson rookie. And someone had come, and it was just a douchey thing. Like, I was still in full-blown Mark Hirschman douchebag mode.
Yeah, you're trying to take advantage of the feeble.
You know what? I mean, listen, the Wade Boggs rookie card wasn't a throwaway card.
It wasn't, but it's no Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't remember exactly what had happened, but I could picture right in front of the firehouse, and someone came over and was like, what the fuck? Like, you can't give him that card for that.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he cracked me right in the face.
Good.
With as much power.
I'm so glad, because you're like... oh, I like your Mickey Mantle rookie card. Here, 2 potatoes. This is 2. You have 1. I'm giving you 2. You're giving me 1. 2 full potatoes.
Can I tell you, Sadeko cracked me like I saw stars. When they say like you see stars, it's legitimate. Like you're not seeing Liberace and fucking Johnny Bench. You're seeing stars.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly, yeah.
And he fucking nailed me.
Good.
Nailed the shit out of me. And he was not a big kid at all.
Yeah.
He was a small, skinny little kid,
Nice.
but he fucking nailed me.
Good.
And I remember thinking like,
So
I deserve
glad.
that. Like I never
You
had a
definitely
problem
did.
if somebody wanted to like fuck with me if
Yeah.
I was a douchebag.
Yeah.
I never had a problem
Yeah,
with
exactly.
it. You
You
know,
get it. Yeah.
like I was a dick.
Yeah.
I was a total asshole.
word.
You know.
Yeah.
So Mike Sadeko, rest in peace. He was a great Valley Stream legend,
Yeah.
and I'm glad
Good
I
for him.
managed to bring him up tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
And Anthony,
Honor
I'm
his
sorry
name.
that I've bothered you in all these stores that I've seen you.
This guy's following me around. This guy's following me around with the sunglasses and and the stupid haircut.
It is a stupid. What the fuck? What? Stupid haircut. Where the fuck did that come from? The shit. What kind of fucking poetic license is that? Stupid haircut. Wow. Okay. All right. What the fuck, Mike?
Sorry about that one.
Oh my god. I guess maybe that April Fool's attack should have been a little bit more realistic.
This actually is the last episode.
This
I think.
is. It's
No,
over with.
No, I
Yeah.
like your haircut. I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you. No, that's fine. What, Tony, is that you seeing anything? People making fun of my hair? Are people making fun of my glasses? On the Facebook feed, I'm sure there's been a couple of glasses comments. I'm assuming.
Yeah, last time I checked Facebook, lots of people liked the
Like
glasses.
the glasses.
Oh,
Suzanne Galina,
wow.
I bet, does not like those glasses.
No, I don't think she likes them.
On YouTube, it's all Mickey Delaney commenting.
Okay, hey,
Mickey,
Mickey.
Mick the Quick.
Good, Mick. What's up?
I think you should have Anthony on the show, personally.
I'll have Anthony on the
Hersh,
show.
what's
no
the best pizza place in Valley Stream?
Ancona, Rockaway Avenue.
There you go.
Yeah. Who wrote that? Frank Lucano?
Frank Lucano.
Yeah.
That's our buddy. He
Yep.
his
Ancona.
son Mike's in-laws, 45 years have owned that place.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. I mean, I still go there. I was probably there about 3 weeks ago. Like I still in a 12-month calendar, which is usually how the year works.
Yeah, one of those
yeah.
not the Mayan calendar.
No, I'm not using marbles. I probably go to Ancona at least 4 to 5 times a year.
Nice.
Yeah,
Excellent.
just because that's the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So well done there, Frank.
Well done.
Okay, so something that we're going to talk about for the last few minutes of the show. We don't do this a lot. We don't. We'll talk serious stuff, but I don't think we'll talk stuff as serious as this. And Mike and I have talked about this a couple of times leading into today's episode because it's something that I had a hard time with last week, and I called Mike, and this is not a joke. This is not an April Fool's. This is very, very serious. The day after the passing, the savage, senseless killing of Officer Jonathan Diller, I reached out to Mike and I said, I know that we don't talk politics. We don't tend to tackle serious
Wax
stuff
political?
a lot. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't tend to tackle things like this. But I certainly felt like if we were going to do this show this week, after me having a hard week, this week after what went on, I think it would be remiss and it would be wrong on our part not to discuss our feelings on it. And I'll tell you what I also did. I guess it was 2 days after the murder, I reached out to a close friend of mine who is I would say, pretty high-ranking person in New York City Police Department. I think there's different levels that go down to cadet, which is like 13th or 14th level, and this person is like 4th or 5th as far as their ranking. And I basically said to him, I said, please explain to me so I don't go on the air and talk stupidly about my feelings about this subject matter. Because I will tell you what got me upset, I guess. Obviously, seeing a 31-year-old police officer, father, son, husband, friend, brother,
cousin.
Probably also cousin as well. Thank you. Perish at the hands of a how many time repeat felon? 20-something
20
times,
plus, over 20 times.
So I was irate by it, and I don't want to make light of the people who are doing things like selling donuts to raise money, blue donuts to raise money, or all the pizza places that are selling pizza with 25% going towards the family, or Barstool, Dave Portnoy, who
$1.5 million Barstool got for
or
them.
Tunnel of Towers that paid for their mortgage, or pictures of people wearing blue and smiling. Like, for me, it was making me crazy, and I'll tell you why. So all that stuff is great. It's fantastic. But ultimately, my thinking is, what can, instead of all that stuff happening after a senseless, despicable, horrible thing like this happens, what can someone like me or just people like us do to make our voices heard so that this kind of thing doesn't happen again, okay? And we have a show here that sometimes we have a few hundred people following on a given show, sometimes a few thousand, and I think it would be remiss if we didn't go ahead and say, kind of speak our piece, and what can we do? So this person, I won't mention his name or his rank, but he said, you have to understand something. In the media, they say it's Governor Hochul or Mayor Adams,
and that was my knee jerk.
Yeah,
as soon as I heard this, I'm like, that was an uneducated knee jerk reaction.
Well,
but I did my research
because we follow the media.
Yeah, exactly. But right away, because I my political stance.
Yep.
And I know that they are not necessarily tough on criminals, and their history has shown that, and I'm not a fan of Hochul or Adams, and
which is fine.
I've seen the way the city becomes, but they're not really to blame for what's going on here.
So this person vividly explained to me that the person, and I did a lot of research after he told me this person's name. He said that it's a guy, you knew of the name, Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie. Is his name.
Yeah,
and he said, you can write letters to the, not that it will, maybe it won't make any difference at all.
Hey, but you know what?
But I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it too, because you know what? People are writing letters to Hochul and Adams. 96% of people don't know who this Heastie guy is.
Right.
So he's flying under the radar.
That's
and
right.
Meanwhile, he's pretty much at the epicenter of the epidemic of
right.
crime.
He started the pandemic and the epidemic of this as well. Well, so this guy, I sent you a couple of clips on it, and I did it. I did some research, and I don't know why, but the articles about saying Mayor Adams is pissed off at Heastie and pissed off that bail reform is in place and catch and release is in place. Why don't we hear a lot about those articles? They're buried somewhere on page 14.
You don't. And Hochul and Heastie are actually at odds, because she is pushing for stricter bail reform.
That's exactly correct. So,
and you wouldn't think that, and I didn't think that. I didn't think that either. And I always criticize them for being soft on crime, especially Adams, because I'm in the city all the time. It's a shithole now. The whole city smells like weed. There's people taking dumps in the street, and I'm not even joking around. It's terrible. Half the people are homeless that come up to you when you're walking up 34th and 8th, and that's Midtown. It's
well. So I did some research on this because you knew I took it very seriously. And I read something that a quote from Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie that said a lot of people like to use bail reform as a scapegoat for the rise in crime, but data shows that that has no context. Well, that obviously is bullshit.
100% bullshit.
That's obviously bullshit.
And I'll tell you what he uses as he says that higher bail is it affects people of lower income.
Yeah.
And that's a bullshit cop-out, because you know what? The people that are going to prison 20, 25, 30 times, they're drug dealers. They have a lot of money, a lot more money than you and I have.
Yep.
That's a bullshit cop-out. They don't necessarily file W-2s at the end of the year. You don't know how much they have. But these are guys that have hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars that could pay for lawyer. They could pay their bail in cash.
Right.
So that's a bullshit cop-out to speak for why you're pushing for lower bail.
When I asked this person, I said, well, what is the rationale? Why would anyone be for the catch and release and for the bail reform? And he said, essentially, it comes down to the fact that they don't want to use the money, the city's money, the state's money on more jails. Okay. Yeah. And my response to that is, for all the fucking stupid things that we spend money on in the city and for the state, why wouldn't we use the money for extra jails? Because ultimately we'll bring in more employment into the state and
get some of the scum off the streets.
More importantly, there wouldn't be a 1-year-old little diller boy with no father today at 31 years old.
Exactly.
And this same cop that I spoke to said that he's friends with someone who 20 years ago she lost her husband in a very senseless way like this by some dirty thug went ahead and sabotage, snuck attack kind of thing. And he said 20 years later, this guy's kids are extremely fucked up.
Yeah, this
day.
kid is growing up without a father. And I'll tell you one thing, like, you know, you hear the term career criminal. That's actually what they are. That's their job. Their job is to commit crimes and go to jail, and then they get out of jail. Like we have regular jobs, 9 to 5s. We have parts of our jobs that we don't like to do. That's right. The part that they don't like. They have to go to jail. They're going to go to jail and come out, and they just make it so much easier for them to go into a revolving door in the justice system, because they're going to commit their crime, they're going to go to jail, get out, commit the crime. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop, and it's going to get worse and worse. They're going to get more desperate, and then cops get killed.
So the issue, it's almost similar when you hear a suicide bomber, a terrorist who goes ahead and kills a group of people. They're not afraid to die. So you have, I won't mention the name of this disgusting animal who killed this innocent police officer, but he has no fear of being in jail. No. He has no fear of if New York had the death sentence.
No.
He wouldn't even.
He was ready to go to jail. You know, he had a shiv up his rectum.
Right. He had no.
When they arrested him, he had a shiv because he was like, "I'm going to jail. I'm ready. I've been there 20 sometimes before."
Right.
He actually was so prepared that he had a shiv hidden inside of his body.
What I don't understand is, to me, there is no doubt that the blood of this murder is not just on the hands of that disgusting killer, but the blood is on the hands of people like Carl Heastie, if he is responsible for making this bail reform catch and release thing go on the way it does. And again, I'm not trying to come across as any expert, because I'm not knowledgeable, and that's where my frustration comes in, where, again, like, listen, I understand the way we work as humans is we want to feel like we can make something right. So by donating to the family, by selling donuts, by turning the lights blue in the neighborhood,
which is great.
It's all
great,
wonderful,
but it's great for that family. But there's going to be another family, and there's going to be another family after that, unless these guys like Heastie are taken out of power. A Republican, Democrat, I don't give a shit. I don't care what he is, what political party he is. He's a piece of shit that needs to be taken out of office.
So what can two little guys here and a producer, what can we do? What can we do? So and that's when I said to this guy, I said, what little things can we do? And he said, you can write letters. I mean, you might not accomplish anything, but maybe try to get it out. Maybe one of these things that we're going to say here, we put in a TikTok or an Instagram reel or
and
something.
let it catch on. You know,
Yeah,
what is,
I don't know. I feel
we
like I
can
need to
write
say
our little
something,
letters.
though.
We could spread the word. We've spoken to people, and you admit it. We're not as educated on this as other people, but we are going to speak to people who are more educated, and they're going to speak to people who are more educated that know exactly where this starts and where it's supposed to end. And that's really what's going to make a change. That's a great point.
Where it starts and where is it going to end? But the bottom line is this system, as currently constructed in New York City, is broken.
Absolutely, 100%
it's terribly broken. And you know, if it comes down to saying, well, you know, if you have 100 people in the room who feel like this is a good thing and it's 95% Democrat and 5 Republican, well, then maybe the problem's there on that side. And again, I'm not, you know, the politics of it is not important to me.
That's not for me to decide. It's for you to look at and see, oh, maybe this does sway a certain way.
You know, I guess my question also is like, who would be in favor of this? So if there are people that are voting for this type of thing, do they really understand what they're voting for? That's what I don't know. Like, you can be the leftist of a left, but do you understand what you're voting for if you're allowing someone who has all these priors, who has served 8-year sentences, you're allowing them to get back on the street to potentially, because we all have someone who works in the city, lives in the city. I personally feel very I feel very connected to it because a lot of my good friends are cops, state troopers. So for me, I think about it. And you know me, I'm a sensitive person. So in my mind, I'm always like, I wonder how that guy's doing today, or what's happening over there. Like, what's stopping them for being victimized like that?
You know, prisons and jails are supposed to be for rehabilitation, not for being a revolving door. These people don't care if they don't care if they've been arrested a third time, then they're not going to care if they're arrested a 30th time. I was arrested one time in my life, made a mistake, learned my lesson, and that'll never happen again because I'm a good person. That's not my career. I'm all right person.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
But these people, it doesn't matter whether they go to jail 5 times or whether they go to jail 50 times, and they're in and out once a month. It doesn't matter to these people, and that's where it's got to change.
One of the things I read, someone had said that it's taking way too long to get these people through the judicial system, meaning if they get a collar and then they're released and it's another 18 months before they see a court. Well, in between the time here and there of 18 months, that gives them so much room as a career criminal to do whatever the hell they want.
Exactly.
And to me, that's just not acceptable.
For the most part, they know that they're going to spend time in jail anyway, so why not just do some more stuff and try to build up a little bankroll at the hands of other innocent people.
So I guess what I'm saying today, and you know, listen, for those of you who turned this off 15 minutes ago, you know, I can deal with that. Honestly, I know that's not, this conversation is not what you're used to from us, but I feel with this little platform and hopefully a bigger platform as we go along, we really will be irresponsible not to go ahead and talk about this, because it's all about our loved ones and our friends, our family, our kids. It's something. So what I implore you to do is maybe spend a little time tonight or tomorrow looking up Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie, look up bail reform, look up catch and release.
Look up some statistics of stop, question, and frisk.
Right.
Why did that decrease so drastically since 2013?
That's right. So if you can do
who's
something,
to benefit from that? Who are the ones that benefit and who are the ones that get hurt? And I'll tell you one thing, the ones that get hurt are the ones that you love.
Nice, Mikey.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. I was waiting for you to have a good line. That was good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I know that some people turn the dial or whatever you want to say, but I know the people that are listening, because, listen, we happen to live in an area in Levittown, East Meadow, Hicksville. It's blue collar.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cops, a lot of firemen, a lot of people that are in the city grinding every day. And not just them.
My family, my friends are cops.
What about people who are construction workers in the city? They're there every fucking day.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not a very safe place to be. No. Now the new thing is that there's a couple of animals running around punching women in the face. Like, what kind of fucking, you know, the city was a horrible, horrible
women
place.
Women that don't deserve it, too.
The city is a horrible, awful place. If you remember how it was back in the 70s, 80s, and then
watch Taxi Driver. It's back. That's
Yeah.
how it is again.
But
we need a.
who was it who came in, Tony? And was it Giuliani who cleaned up the city? Got cleaned up.
That
after
is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So
You know,
They
he's-
hated him for it at first.
They hated him for it at first, and he's a clown now. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing: he cleaned that goddamn city up.
So I think it's important. I'm glad you said about him being a clown, because now, with the dripping sideburns and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and now he's kind of a cartoon character. But it's okay. I think people need to understand that regardless of political affiliation, it is okay to look at good things that people have done, even if you consider them not to be good people. And he definitely went off. But that city was a shithole, and then he took all the crime off the streets, the pros away, which hey, how you doing? All right,
Leave something. Leave a little meat on the bone. You know what I'm
That's it.
saying?
A little something, little fun for the kids. You know what I mean? Hey,
But yeah, you gotta the thing we're really trying to say here is you gotta speak to people who are educated to know where the root of this is. When I first heard this, like I said before, my knee jerk reaction was I hate Hochul, I hate Adams.
Yeah.
And then I was watching at the wake for the police officer. They wouldn't let Kathy Hochul in.
Yeah.
They turned her away, and she's not the one. She's not the
Well,
one you
so
really need to
that's
be turning away.
That's the thing. And listen,
As much as I can't really stand her.
I'm not going to find fault with anyone. That might have been a relative, and obviously whatever that reaction was,
I think he was a commissioner. He was some kind of
the person who yelled at
I think
Hochul.
the
You
one that
mean?
yelled at her was some kind of higher up in the police
Oh, okay.
department.
I mean, the truth is, my guess is the majority of people, their innate response is to think, well, the city's in shambles because of Hochul and Mayor Adams. And I can tell you that my research, after reaching out to certain people and doing some online studying, did not show that it was them, that it was this guy Carl Heastie.
Listen,
So,
I don't think they're doing a great job. I've been in the
that's
city,
fine. Yeah,
but
that's fine.
But doesn't correlate to this.
to this, yeah. So,
And
so
I'll tell you one thing: Donald Trump spent $200 at All American Burger.
dude, how cool was that?
That's awesome.
How cool was
That
that?
is awesome.
Yes, I definitely think that was pretty neat.
Make All American great again.
That's right. Make All American great again. Nice, Mikey. Nice. So I think on that note, I think I want to end off on that point, because that's something that's super important. And for those who stuck in with us for the last 15 minutes, thank you. We're going to cut this show up a little bit, and we're going to try to put some of that stuff out there, Mikey.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's stuff that I want to circulate.
And share it, because it's pretty important. If you agree with us, even if you disagree with us,
listen,
share it and criticize
so,
us. I don't give a shit.
Thank you for saying that. And my thing is, if someone doesn't agree with what I just said, what we just said, please let me know.
I was here too.
And explain to me. No, I just I want to understand who's an advocate for cops being shot? Who's an advocate for criminals being let out before they should be let out? Who's an advocate for lack of rehabilitation of criminals? I don't know anybody.
Mass incarceration isn't the nightmare that everyone thinks it is. It helps.
Yeah, I mean, well,
You don't want everyone to be going to jail for selling a bag of pot. But
I know that's exactly right. But if you have violent crimes with guns and shanks, and you need to spend some time away.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to spend time away, then don't do the
and
fucking
if you know
crime.
what, you do it, and then you get to spend some time away, and you come back and you do it again, you're spending more time away.
Amen.
Until you're an old fucking man.
Amen.
Or woman.
Amen.
Or whatever.
Good. All right. On that note, Mikey, it's been an hour. Tell me what you got coming up, if anything pending this weekend.
Thursday night, I will be warming up the audience for the Johnny Potenza show on Staten Island.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
we got
I know Johnny Potenza is, yeah.
Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos, Big Pussy. He's gonna be there.
Nice, awesome.
And William DeMeo, who created the Gravesend series on HBO, whatever.
Terrific.
He's gonna be on it, so that'll be fun. And then this weekend. On Saturday, I'll be out in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, if anybody's there. And then June 21st, the big show at the Brokerage Comedy Club. Tickets on sale, govs.com.
You got it. And Mr. Tony, you got Tony and Tina's wedding coming up?
We are performing Our Redeemer Church in Seaford on Friday. We're performing out in Riverhead on Saturday. September 28th, the big Knock 'em Dead Comedy Triple X Trivia Game Show night in the Giggle Room. Go to govs.com for that.
I will look forward to that.
Thank you,
I will
guys.
be there as always. So, all right, people, thank you for listening. Thank you for following and sharing. And certainly, if you don't mind, and if you see that we cut some of this show up and put it on Instagram and you see a reel that you feel is real, how's
Nice.
that?
I
Not
like
bad?
that. That's a
Please
good
go
one.
ahead and share it, because maybe you'll help us get the word out, and maybe we'll change one thing, something we can change, you know?
exactly.
So, all right, guys, we love you. Have a great night. Thank
Bye.
you.